Thanks for staying with us here on TVC Breakfast. Now, Runway Jazz 2025 marks groundbreaking moment in Nigeria's cultural and musical history. For the very first time, the legendary Wynton Marsalis, one of the most influential jazz musicians of our time, will perform live in Nigeria alongside the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra from New York. This historic appearance sets the stage for an extraordinary edition of Runway Jazz, one that blends global excellence with local artistry, style and sophistication. Known for its unique fusion of high fashion, rich African culture and world-class jazz, Runway Jazz has become a cornerstone event on Nigeria's creative calendar. There is more in this.
This October, the stage returns, the spotlight reignites, and the rhythm louder than ever. Runway Jazz, the ultimate fusion of style, sound, and soul, is back, and it's bigger than ever. Brace yourself for an unforgettable night of live jazz, high fashion, and unmatched energy.
For the very first time in Lagos, the Grammy Award-winning Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra with Wynton Marsalis, bringing the heartbeat and soul of New York jazz to Africa, alongside Nigeria's rising stars and special guest performances that will stir your spirit.
This isn't just an event, it's a movement. It's Runway Jazz. Theme, timeless return. We're not just back, we're timeless. Mark your calendar. Date, October 5th, 2025. Venue, Landmark Center, Lagos.
Reserve your seat in history. Visit www.runwayjazz.org for tickets, tables, and full event information.
Now let's talk this through by speaking with the convener, Runway Jazz and permanent representative to Nigeria and ECOWAS African Union's 6th Region Global Ambassador, Ambassador Afolabi. Okay, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining us on TVC Breakfast.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me this morning.
All right, so if you look at, you've seen how events like the Cape Town International Jazz Festival, taking South Africa to that limelight where it drew over, is it up to 20,000 or 50,000 participants? Yeah. But the problem there is, for Gen Zs, they're wondering what exactly is this jazz thing coming up in Lagos. Could you help us understand the relevance of jazz this time round and vis-a-vis what is coming up in Lagos for this 2025?
Very interesting. Let me take you down memory lane. Where did jazz actually come from? I mean, if you look at back in the days through slavery, that was our first language of communication, as it were. And that's why the theme for this year is called Timeless Return. Oh. Because if you trace music back in the days, jazz actually started from the blacks. We call it the black notes, right? And so if you look at Wynton Marsalis, who is a legendary trumpeter, in fact, one of the best jazz trumpeter in the world, right? Coming to Nigeria is black. Coming to Nigeria for the first time is tracing his root back home. So my job as African Union 6th Region, the mandate is reconnecting our global diaspora with their roots. That's right. So for us, this is very, very interesting. We're telling the world we're taking you back to our roots. Amazing. Which is where all other genre of music actually came from. Gospel, name it.
Afrobeat.
Afrobeat. As a matter of fact, legendary fella there's a department in Berkeley College today where they're studying Afrobeat based on the jazz rudiments of Afrobeat.
Wow.
And so they're saying to us, look, there's more with there's going to be a fusion of Afrobeat and jazz in this particular timeless return.
I love jazz. First things first, let me let you know that I love jazz.
We know it.
We need to know the kind of jazz you like. Is it the juju jazz or the musical jazz?
Oh boy! You were so excited when you heard you were coming on.
Yes, I know. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's creative. It has a way of transporting you from where you are to somewhere you really can put your fingers to. And it's so exciting that we're going to have Wynton Marsalis come here. We've heard about him. I have heard, let me not talk about every other person. I've heard about him, but I've never seen him, so it's an opportunity for me to see him. I want to know who and who is on the bill, on that particular day. What are we expecting?
Okay, very interesting. We have, for the very first time in Nigeria, Wynton Marsalis is leading a 28-man orchestra band for the first time to Nigeria, Lagos being the hub. Right? That's the Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra Band. This is huge. And that is why for us, and we have several great artists coming with them as well. But again, we have a renowned local artist as well that will be joining, and there will be some collaboration. Watch the space.
Oh, definitely, a collaboration.
So we have Made Kuti, who will most probably be collaborating with Wynton himself, and which is jazz fusing with Afrobeat for the first time, maybe. And of course, we have Yinka Davis, we have Timmy Dakolo, we have. Again, we have a little surprise for you. Donald Duke was one of the first guys we featured in 2016 when we started. But this time we're going to have his daughter perform as well, along with the husband. That's Zoruna. And a few other surprises that we have for you.
So you just told me that I'm happily there.
Surprise is like whetting appetite already.
Okay, I have to say, you are so soft-spoken and so eloquent, and it's hard to believe that you blow a loud saxophone when you're not on TVC breakfast show. But I will say this, just a personal anecdote. Jazz is not just about, we know this, it's not just about the music or the saxophones. It is about community. I remember when I was younger, I would go to jazz club with my father, and the men there, they had the best jokes, they had the best liquor, they had the best, you know, it was just a community of people. So jazz is actually a culture. And a lot of people, young people coming into this community, this jazz festival will be great for them to see what that's like, a community of like-minded artists and musicians. But my question for you is this. You know, you did mention Afrobeats. Afrobeats is currently dominating right now, and it will be for decades to come. And so my question is, how do you not sell jazz, but how do you make jazz beautiful for younger audiences or younger musicians without it losing its essence or its core? You know, if I'm a young person, why jazz?
I think the fundamental is, what is your music based on? It's based on some rudiments of music, right? And jazz technically is the core of a lot of music that we do here. If you listen to Afrobeat, if you listen very well to Fela, for example, you see all of those intros that he does before he actually, those are some rudiments of core jazz. And people like John Coltrane took a bit of that and they were able to amplify the sound that Fela was trying to communicate to us. So really, one of the things that they're also doing, during this, it's a 5 days, they're here for 5 days, is that day one, we're having the American Embassy jointly hosting the group on the 4th of October at the Consul's residence. On the 5th is really the main concert, right? And one thing they have decided to do is to give back. So on the 6th, we're having a master class specifically for young people. Schools, young artists, musicians alike, they're willing to give back. So we're going to have a master class to educate people. How can you improve your genre of music? It doesn't matter what it is, but you need to understand the fundamentals, be it gospel, be it Afrobeat. How can you improve the rudiments? Because in this part of the world, right, once you hear boom, boom, that is music. It's music.
No, everything is music. Even when there is silence, you'll hear the tick-tock of a clock. You know that it's still musical to your ear. But I'm just wondering why, because we have many states in Nigeria, because this has to also do with something that is rooted in culture. So why did you choose Lagos as a place for this concert?
Again, back to history. As I represent African Union's 6th region, we're talking about, you know, taking us back to the roots and this global diaspora reconnecting. So we have two kinds of diaspora. You have the bilateral, that's Africans that are going abroad. Then we have the historic, people whom through slavery, they have done their DNA, they realize that, look, I'm actually rooted in Africa. For example, when Meghan came with the prince, she did her DNA here only to realize that she's 45% Nigerian.
Wow.
And in Brazil, we have over 75 million people that have done their DNA and they realize that they're people from African descent. And that's why our president is currently courting Brazil, you know, to expose, you know, that relationship and expand that. So beyond what you see, Lagos, the number of slaves that went through Badagry, we're saying something. We're saying, come back to the roots where we all came from, you know. And so we're going to be showcasing Badagry as, you know, one of the hubs where the slaves went through. And that's why we again tagged it the timeless return.
It's a true homecoming.
Amazing. Homecoming.
Right. So, hold your thoughts, Ambassador Afolabi. Okay, we need to quickly take a break, and then we'll definitely continue from where we are leaving off. Just stay with us here on TVC Breakfast. We'll be back very soon. Thanks for staying with us here on TVC Breakfast. We've been talking about the Runway Jazz, which has always echoed that spirit by showcasing Nigerian talent alongside international stars. You know, this year, which is tagged Timeless Return. And we've been speaking with a representative to Nigeria and ECOWAS African Union 6th Region Global Ambassador, Ambassador Afolabi. Okay, thank you so much for, you know, keeping faith with us.
Thank you.
I thought you were going to go at the time.
Oh, yes. I mean,
He loves jazz.
you know what I really like about it is the spontaneity of it. You know, like what just transpired between you and Olamide. That's jazz. Right. You know, that's the way it runs. You know, okay. A lot of us believe that if it is not a saxophone or trumpet and maybe a lead guitar, then it is not jazz. I would like us to go to the fundamentals of jazz itself and get these young people, you know, that do not see jazz as a genre that would like to enjoy, see how important it is in music development. Are we going to have those young jazz musicians that still do not know or have a strong footing on that genre of music perform? Are you going to give them that opportunity to perform? And as you said, there will be some kind of mentorship going on there too.
As a matter of fact, I'm part of this young academy called the Saxophone Hub. And we groom them from age 6, right, to 12. And one of them, I'm sure you must have been seeing her around, Temilaya Boduri, the girl that plays saxophone all over the place. And we have a bunch of them, right? And the beauty of it is that in the last 4 years, right, we've been helping them. We got scholarship for them in the US, and every year we take a bunch of them to a jazz summer school every year in the US. And believe me, when they go and they come back, it's never the same. It changes their perspective to music. It deepens their music. It deepens any genre of music they truly want to play, because jazz, it's fundamental in terms of you know, the kind of music that you produce, the quality of music that you produce. So we're going to have these young guys. You'll see a 7-year-old play saxophone like an adult.
Wow.
And Saxophone Hub, we will be showcasing them for sure.
Interesting stuff.
Sounds really interesting.
One thing that also, you know, that strikes me, you know, regarding this conversation is, you know, when she was talking about her own experience growing up in the middle of the big guys or the big men, she mentioned words like liquor and some, you know, substances, which some way when you get on the air, when you get on stage, you get to, you know, be high, you want to perform beyond that. But I know that we're having challenges regarding, you know, abuse of substances and all of that. How are we also using jazz to educate or to sensitize our youths away from something that is, you know, seen as socially incorrect or not socially moral?
Like I just give an example, we have kids that we're taking off the street and placing saxophone in their hands. You don't have to steal, you don't have to go into drugs. Come and we'll teach you something that will take you to places. And that's what I'm saying, from 6-year-old, we try and catch them young. From age 6, it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, who your parents are, just come and we will put an instrument in your hands, right? And you'll be amazed the number of lives that have been transformed just by that singular act. And that's why I'm so excited that we'll be showcasing these young artists. I'm hoping that they'll also be able to do a collaboration with Winty Marsalis. Because they're looking for talents that they want to take back to New York, all right? And one of the things, the people that we're also speaking to is Berklee College itself is the best music school in the world. And they did about $9 million outside of Nigeria last year in terms of scholarship, and then we're wooing them to come, that there's several talents in Nigeria. They need to come and sponsor and give scholarship to young people and give, hope to the seemingly bleak future of a lot of young musicians alike. And that's one of the things that we're hoping. They've said they will let me know. We will hopefully have them as well at this Runway Jazz.
I have to commend you, Ambassador Oke, for keeping the arts alive. And this what you just shared with us about these kids on the streets, being given instruments and it changing their lives. It's more than just a festival. It's a life-changing opportunity potentially. But I will say this: studies have shown that apparently people who pick up an instrument or are very invested in music, they actually show more self-satisfaction. They have a better self-esteem. They have more purpose in their life. So music is very, very important, but a lot of people unfortunately see jazz particularly as niche or elitist. It's a very, very, this kind of boys club. It's very, like I mentioned about my father growing up. But but it's a very personal story for most jazz musicians that I've encountered. What was your first time? What was the first time that jazz coursed through your veins?
To be honest, each time back in the days when I was 16, anytime I listened to any saxophonist play, it's very intriguing, and I made up my mind I really want to learn this instrument. So I wrote to my uncle then, who was in London. I said, look, send me a saxophone. I don't want clothes, I don't want money. For 1 year, he did not respond. When he responded one Christmas, he sent me a saxophone, and I locked myself up for 3 months to learn by myself without going to any school. Yes. And I played my first tune, Amazing Grace. Because
that gift was actually amazing.
Yes.
Amazing Grace. Whoa, you see, this story you just told us now shows the passion that you have for it. And some people will be pushed to get it, to develop interest in jazz. What's the difference between the person that has that passion and the person that is into jazz because he or she is hustling? That's one side of the question. The other side is, let's talk about this timeless return. Apart from what you've told us about the 4th, the 5th, and so on, what else are we expecting?
I think there's several things we're showcasing our culture to the world. Part of what you'll be seeing is also a bit of art. We have Dr. Kokwala, they call him the metal. He converts metal into gold. Wow. Yes, he's going to be showcasing. He's building some work specifically for this. For this event, and so there's going to be a lot of art, showcasing some of his works and some other artists. But beyond that, all we're trying to tell the world, there's a bit of fashion as well. We have some fashion icons that will also be showcasing, because sometimes we see what you wear before we hear what you have to say. Yes. So this platform is really about showcasing who we are. We are the only ones that can truly rewrite our own story as Africans. And that's why this platform is giving every one of us a voice to rewrite our story ourselves. Because if you look at South Africa, it brings over 600 million rands to South Africa, the Cape Town International Jazz Festival. Why can't we have the same in Nigeria, in Lagos in particular?
As you respond to the second leg of his question, I want you to do that, in relation to the dates, actually, re-emphasize the dates, people who are willing to come. Yes. How do they come there? How do they register? And what does it take them to register? And the exact location it's going on. So for those who are just joining us, very quickly.
Very simple. 5th of October is the open concert, and you can pick up your tickets at Aria Tickets. They're limited tickets. You had better get it now. AriaTickets.com or runwayjazzlimited.org. Pick up your tickets from those particular online. It's virtual. You can really buy your tickets, or go to any of the Ebano stores. The tickets are there, available for you to pick up as well.
That's not everybody goes to it.
I just want to say, behind the scenes, when we went on a break, Ambassador Oke actually offered me a chance to perform poetry at his event. So I will be there. I will be performing poetry. Check me out.
Please.
Amazing. We'll be there to give you moral support. So
let us look at that question I asked. The person that has passion before going into, and the person that was introduced into it. What's the big difference?
I'll use mine as an example, okay? I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl. My son today plays saxophone better than me. Wow. Yes, as a matter of fact.
But not self-taught as yours.
I started teaching him by myself at home.
So you poured yourself into him.
Right now he's 16, and through his saxophone he got a scholarship into Berklee College of Music. He just resumed this September.
Oh, he's expected to play with
The same thing with the same thing with my daughter who sings as well. You know, as a matter of fact, in Berklee they call her Ella, and she's going to be performing also at this event. So that's passion. For those that go into it because they want to make money, is typically going into any form of music just because you want to make money. If you don't have a passion for it, it's not sustainable.
That's right.
Oh, it's not
so passion is what keeps you going, no matter what, in any field, really. But the truth is, you must add passion to whatever you do in life. That's what's going to help you to go far.
I think that's a very convenient place for us to actually leave it, because you started on a note of, yes, I understand jazz, I know jazz, I breathe jazz, I do all of this, and then he's ending as a motivational speaker, telling our audience that you have to ensure that your passion drives you to where you're going. It goes beyond saying that you have to aspire to a fire to, in order to fire, that kind of a thing. But it's so good to have this conversation with you. Thank you so much for your keenness of insight. We've been speaking with Ambassador Afolabi Oke, who is also a permanent representative to Nigeria and ECOWAS. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very grateful.
Now, just stay with us here on TVC Breakfast. After the break, we'll shine a spotlight on the state of governance and economic growth in Nigeria. We'll be right back. Just stay with us.